Welcome to Brock11, where we're not just talking about culture, we're building it by design. I'm Laura Brocklehurst, CEO of Brock11, and your guide on this journey towards a transformative workplace environment. Today, we're going to explore what it means to be a prioritized leader, and we're going to do this through what I like to call the 5P process. Each component of this process is critical, and I'm not only going to explain the 5Ps, but I'm going to also share some real life examples of how leaders can implement these successfully. So, if you are ready to enhance your leadership, let's begin. We all know that leadership can be a very overwhelming task, and it's not always easy to stay on top of everything. So, being a prioritized leader is critical for success, and it requires a specific approach. Prioritized leaders have a very clear understanding of their purpose and their goals, and they take actions that align with those objectives. They prioritize people over profit. And we're going to come back to that topic because I don't want that to be understood because, as a business leader and a leader of teams, it's important that you keep your eye on profit too, right? So we're going to talk about what I mean about prioritizing people over profit. It doesn't mean that you take your eye off of profit. They also keep pace with changing circumstances. They consider the perception of others. And of course, they keep their eye on profit. So, in this video blog post, we're going to explore the 5P process um, of being a prioritized leader and how it can help leaders stay focused on what's important. So, let's talk about the first P, which is the purpose. A prioritized leader knows their why. Understanding your purpose as a leader means that you have a clear understanding of your vision, your mission, and your values. And it's crucial to know what you stand for and why you do what you do. Your purpose should be the driving force behind everything that you do, and it should guide your decisions and your actions. If the decisions and actions that you make are in conflict with your purpose, the people around you really lose faith and trust in people's leadership abilities. So, as a prioritized leader, it is essential to communicate your purpose to your team and to ensure that everyone understands the importance of the work that they are doing. Some ways that leaders are successful in understanding and communicating purpose are by communicating the vision and the mission regularly. So regularly articulating the organization's vision and mission, and you can do this through team meetings or any other internal communication resources that you have. And this is going to ensure that everyone is aligned and everyone is motivated. And that happens when this communication and is consistent. It can't be ever changing because then your people aren't aligned. So communicating your vision and your mission consistently and making sure that it says the same message is important. And then incorporating values in your decision making. So making decisions that reflect the company's core values and demonstrating how these values guide business practices, and then leading by example, which might sound cliche, but it is so incredibly important that leaders embody the organization's purpose in their daily actions. So showing your team that you're committed to the principles that you preach. It's important that what you say the company is about and what the culture represent is what the employees feel when they're working there every day. And then the second P is people. A prioritized leader is going to prioritize people over profit, and it's essential to value the people on your team and build strong relationships with them. A leader who prioritizes people is going to create environments of trust and environments of collaboration. And this is going to lead to increased productivity and job satisfaction. As a prioritized leader, it's essential to listen to your team and ensure they feel heard and ensure they feel valued. You should also provide your team with tools and resources that they need to succeed. Some ways that successful leaders show that they are a people first leader are by creating inclusive environments. So, fostering an inclusive culture where diverse ideas and perspectives are celebrated, ensuring that every team member really feels like they belong. The second way is providing growth opportunities, so offering training and development programs that are going to cater to the individual's growth path and their overarching goals for their career, and for the team members to grow. And then the third way is by recognizing contributions. So regularly acknowledging and rewarding employees for their hard work and dedication. So this is going to enhance their sense of value and belonging. And this needs to be sometimes those one-offs, not just, on an anniversary or a birthday, or it's got to be kind of those one-offs where people aren't expecting it. That's a really good way to prioritize people as a leader. The third P is pace. So let's talk about pace. And if you're a leader or a CEO or a leader of a team, your pace is probably pretty fast because this world isn't slowing down, especially when it comes to business. So a prioritized leader is going to keep pace with changing circumstances. And leaders who are slow to adapt to change will quickly become irrelevant. A leader who prioritizes pace understands that change is constant and they are willing to adapt quickly to new circumstances. And as a prioritized leader, it's essential to stay informed about your industry trends, changes in the market. You also should be proactive in making changes to your strategy and processes to stay ahead of your competition. So, some strategies that successful leaders have adopted as it relates to pace are making sure that you've got agile practices in place. So, what does that mean? Implementing agile methodologies that are going to allow for rapid response um, to change and to continuous improvement. And as a leader, the last thing you want to do is be the cog in the wheel when it comes to moving things forward and making decisions. So when you look at your processes that you've got in place, make sure that you've got agile practices in place. If there's too many steps to a process, too many hands in the cookie jar, trim some of that down and make sure your processes are agile and that you and your teams can move very quickly when it comes to moving things forward and making decisions. The second thing is having regular strategy reviews. So, scheduling periodic reviews of your strategy so that you can adapt quickly to new challenges and opportunities. When you do regular strategy reviews, you're really refining those strategies and peeling the onion on them. Your first strategy review might be, you know, really big goals. And then as you continue to meet and do and build your strategies, you really get into the smaller goals that lead you towards those big goals. So regularly reviewing those is going to ensure that you're on track. And it's also going to help leaders and organizations understand when they need to pivot and maybe change priorities. And then the third thing with PACE is encouraging innovation. Innovation is so important. It doesn't matter what your company is, if you are a service company or you actually make a product. So promoting a culture where team members are encouraged to come forward with innovative ideas that can adapt, that they can adapt and change and shape the market. It's important that employees feel like they've got the ability to share those ideas and to innovate in their positions. And then the fourth P is perception. A prioritized leader is going to consider the perception of others. And a leader who prioritizes perception is going to understand that their actions can have a significant impact on how others perceive them. And as a prioritized leader, it's essential to consider the impact of your actions on others and ensure that you're building a positive reputation. The last thing you want as a leader is to be in meetings where people, you feel that people perceive you one way, but you walk out of a meeting and they in fact perceive you very differently, and the water cooler talk happens. So make sure that as a leader, you're building a positive reputation. You should also be transparent and honest with your team and stakeholders. So successful leaders really shine when it comes to perception, when they act transparently, when they share important information with the teams and stakeholders. They provide clear insights into company decisions and future plans. The second thing is managing crisis openly. And every leader, whether you're running a company or running a team, you at some point are going to have to manage a crisis. So managing a crisis openly means that you handle that crisis openly by communicating what is happening and how it's being addressed. When a crisis happens, it's not about whose fault it is, finger pointing, shoulda, woulda, coulda. As a leader, the only thing that you need to communicate is what is happening and how it's being addressed. That is how you're going to be respected in those situations. So thereby, when you do that, you're going to maintain trust even through tough times. And it's important that these tough times are handled with a high level of professionalism. When they're not, teams lose confidence in their leaders' ability to navigate hard times, have emotional control, and to get them through those hard times. And then the third thing, as it relates to perception, is engaging in community building. So, actively participating in community services and events and showing that your leadership extends beyond the office is so important. So, now let's talk about the fifth P, which is profit. A prioritized leader is going to keep an eye on profit. And while people and purpose should be a leader's top priority, profit is still extremely important. A leader who prioritizes profit is going to understand the importance of making a profit to sustain their business and continue to invest in their team and operations. So, as a prioritized leader, it's essential that you balance your focus on profit with your focus on people and purpose. And some of the strategies related to profit could be having financial transparency. So, sharing financial results with the team members, explaining how profits are used to reinvest in the company and its employees. The second thing is having sustainable practices. So implementing practices that not only aim for short-term gains, but also consider, long-term sustainability. And then the third thing is balancing your stakeholders' interests. So, regularly evaluating how decisions are going to impact your stakeholders. And that can be employees, that can be shareholders. Your stakeholders could be a variety of things. So, ensuring there's a balanced approach to that will give you a balanced approach to profitability. So those are the 5 Ps that we wanted to talk about today. And being a prioritized leader is all about consistency in these 5 areas: your purpose, your people, your pace, your perception, and your profit. And I'm going to encourage you to get out a pen and a paper right now and write those 5 things down: purpose, people, pace, perception, and profit. It builds trust and it lays a foundation for success. The one thing that will derail any leader is inconsistency with any of these 5 Ps in their process. So, consistency is powerful. It builds trust and understanding. In conclusion, being a prioritized leader requires a specific approach that focuses on purpose, people, pace, perception, and profit. And by prioritizing these elements, leaders can stay focused on what is important and make decisions that align with their goals and their values. And as a prioritized leader, it's essential to communicate your purpose to your team. Prioritize your people over your profit, keep pace with changing circumstances, consider the perception of others, and keep an eye on your profit. By following the 5P process, leaders can lead their teams to success and continue to make a positive impact in their organization. So that's a wrap on today's topic, the prioritized leader. Remember, the best leaders always have their eye on these 5 priorities. If you enjoyed this video blog, be sure to share and to visit our website at www.brock11.net for more insightful blog topics. And until next time, keep building your culture by design.